Did you found that you are in the 12th house dasha or period, or one is coming soon, or at least you have some planets in the 12th house? Well, I had such dashas in my life, and since 20 years I'm analyzing the charts of my clients and also the celebrities from Astrological. So after this video, we'll be very nicely equipped to understand how the 12th house will open for you. I will show you how the 12th house can open in 4 completely different ways, how to block the negatives and make the period even better. Let us ask the question, do you really know what the 12th house is showing? Because if you don't, you may be not prepared for what is coming and you may miss the good opportunity. And when you do, you may have some good strategy and a plan. And let us think about it. What is bad in just saying, oh, now is the period of giving or losing or sacrifice, because that is the essence of the 12th house. When talking about the 12th house, I remember the shloka from Chaitanya Charitamrita when it said that when we talk about the love, it's giving, so it's a 12th house. When we talk about the lust, it's about the taking. So this is the difference between the Upapada and the Darapada. Arudha, which is coming from the 12th house and from the 7th house. But I think you guessed properly that the issue with that is that giving, the abstract term, is too general, too broad. So we would like to know, is it about giving in marriage? Because the 12th house can manifest in that way. Is it about the antithesis to health, like the hospital stay, or to the intelligence, which can be some mistakes, or even to your awareness or freedom, which could be some jail time. So it can manifest in way of losses, it can manifest in relationships, it can manifest in the health way. So completely different direction, but all are related to the 12th house. It's like you have a lump of clay from which you can build many, many things. The problem is that it's not you who are building, but the karma is doing that for you. But at least it would be nice to know what is being built. Imagine you could do that for all the houses to exactly know which part will come to fore. But let's stick in this video to the 12th house. So what tools we can engage? First of all, the other dashas. If the other dasha is, for example, also showing the marriage, then this time will be for that particular direction. The Karaka is very important. If Venus or and Ketu are there, then it's all about marriage. If Mars and Saturn are also in the yoga or somehow related to the timing of the planet, then it is more about the hospital stay or the body is fighting with some disease. The simple division to Shubha and Papa, to the benefics and the malefics, will be very, very crucial, because there will be one example for that, how it can also change to understand what's going on. The Navamsa will be very important, because that will be a very nice filter to choose between the proper activation of the 12th house. If the 8 or 12 in the Navamsa, it will also promote more the fighting with some disease. Good yogas in those houses will promote or guarantee the success in the surgeries and so on. And finally, the leveling, right? We know about the gluing and leveling on this channel already. So the leveling means that we are engaging the other levels and we are confirming with that. So we will see 12th house from other reference points to be sure what is really going on. When you're analyzing your chart, you need to have all of these prepared and also rectified Navamsa. Also, you need to have a knowledge about yoga formation, because often it's not about that you are missing some rule, but you are not seeing how it is connected, because some yoga formation are being ignored. For example, the easiest yoga, the one which doesn't bring any questions, it's so clear from the beginning, is the Parivartana, right? When that was taught, then everything is clear, no more confusion. Okay, so we did that theory basis, and now we will go to the 4 ways how it can manifest, and we will start with the most positive, the marriage. Some will not agree, but and if you will ignore the Navamsa and counting of relationship, then using the Vimshotri dasha here, because that will be the main dasha we will use, or the variations, is completely useless. So you need to make sure that these 2 are right. If you will nail this, then you will have very nice results, especially if you are also engaging the other dashas. For this, we want to pay attention to Venus Ketu, somewhere being near. We need to have this house of marriage activated in the Navamsa. This is something vital which cannot be omitted. This is the central point. And of course, the other dashas, which will also direct our gaze in this direction. This is very nicely seen in the chart of the woman rights feminist and French politician Marlene Schiappa, Minister of Citizenship. When the 12th house got activated, she got married the second time. So let's unpack this two part of the sentence. We have Venus and Mercury. They are related to the 12th house, especially we are paying attention to the Antar Dasha or the sub-period. And we can go even more advanced to know which marriage it was. 7th house in the Navamsa, first marriage. 2nd house, second marriage. 9th house, third marriage. 4th house, fourth marriage. So we can go 8 from the previous relationship to find another strong relationship. So Mercury was the second lord. It has nothing to do with 7th. Therefore, it was second marriage. So without Navamsa, you don't know if the house of marriage got activated or maybe some problems with the health. And how you know that 7th house was activated, 7th lord, planet in 7th house, or any yoga with those points. It could be a planet joining the 7th lord or dispositing the 7th lord, all of the yoga activation. Because then the giving, which is in the 12th house in the Rashi, is connected, or the other peripheral part of that activity is related to our partner, 7th house in the Navamsa. That is the positive way of channelizing this energy. Okay, we are talking about the love and marriage and partnerships. The 12th house in the Rashi shows that initial phase, the dating. And let us now go to the antithesis of the health, which are hospital stays, surgery, and all that. How this can be traced when the 12th house get activated in the Rashi. Astrologers who doesn't know this will have a hard way to help their clients to find those times, and especially if you have 2 options to choose which one is the best. It's quite easy. If you will get it, you will be able to do it every time very quickly. And this rule is so good that you can even rectify the Navamsa based on that. At least for me, this is I always am asking for the surgery, things like that, because then always the 8 or 12 in the Navamsa are activated. Sometimes the 4th house from the Lagna or the moon. So when these houses get activated together with the 12th house activation in the Rashi chart, you now know that this will be more about the health. The Saturn, Karaka for disease, Mars, the Karaka for surgeries will also be somewhere there having the yoga with the Dasha. So Bob Eubanks is the legendary TV host, and also he was an event manager for the Beatles, and also he had 3 shows. 2 of them were very successful. The first one is about the newly wed couple, 7th Lord and Venus in the Lagna. So his fame from promoting or relationships, things like that. Of course, a big Rajas blessings. Venus and Mercury in the ascendant, 10th from the moon, and joining the Arudha Lagna Lord, if Arudha is in Leo. So the Rajas is touching all the career points, therefore person is working in the entertainment. But we also know that in Mercury Ketu, he got the prostate surgery. He was diagnosed with cancer. In that situation, usually it's either chemotherapy or radiotherapy or the removal, which is the Mars Ketu here, because Mars Ketu is always interested in removing the whole thing. Then he had a bypass surgery in Rahu. As we can see, Rahu is in 12th house, Ketu is the 12th lord. So in both these periods, 12th house got clearly activated. Because 12th house is about hospital stay, so it naturally can manifest in that way too. You can see this 12th house for this person doesn't brought the marriage, but he got the hospital stay. And let's see the difference. You have to ask yourself this question. 12th house from Rashi Lagna, 12th from Navamsa, 12th house from Karakamsha. Are these all telling the same story, or there are some big differences? As you will know after this video, the second option is true. Now, it was Rahu Ketu. Ketu is with Mars also. So Mars Ketu Yoga is bringing that Saturn energy. In the Navamsa, Saturn is the 8th lord. What about Rahu? Rahu is with the moon. Moon is the 12th lord. So we see in one case it was 8th lord activation. In the other case it was the 12th lord activation. 7th house is not touched like in the previous example. So that is the vital difference. That is the nuance you have to catch. So imagine without the Navamsa, you're going to the astrologer here is telling you that you will go to the vacation to Italy or France for romantic stay, but it is showing for you the hospital stay or jail. So it's completely different thing. Okay, guys, if you are enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to hit a thumbs up. It really helps my channel, and subscribe to not miss any future videos like this. Okay, we did the antithesis to the health. What about antithesis to other? Think of the lagna of the ascendant, which is the intelligence. 12th house can also show some wrongdoings. And what will be now the recipe for this manifestation? Because if you know this, you not only be cautious, but also you can do the remedies to increase your awareness, or to increase the discipline. And in those bad dashas, you can delegate to your projects to others, or at least consult your friends or family or some experts. Okay, so this example we already did a few videos back. We know that in Jupiter Saturn, he had a big two mistakes, wrong surgeries in which the partner dies. So we can say it was a big mistake. This was about a very stressful time when he spent in jail. So we will also use his chart in the next point, but nevertheless we have Jupiter and Saturn dasha. So think about it, what we need for decision. Definitely Lagna Lord, because it is showing how you are using your computer. So for many lordship yogas, it is quite vital if the planet is benefic or malefic. One of them is this example, Lagna Lord in 12. Similarly, Lagna Lord in 9th house. This is a big difference between those two scenarios. When it's malefic, it's leaning towards the scenario cutting own legs or doing something which is not benefiting for you. And if Jupiter is showing the knowledge, what will be the planet for ignorance? It will be Saturn, right? But we need to be careful. We are now more advanced. We know that the Saturnian results can also come from Mars with the node, as you can see in the previous lectures too. And also the debilitation planets can also behave like Saturn. What to do about the Navamsa Saturnian influence? 4th house and maybe some Shubha yoga on the ascendant can also lean into that mistake direction. And in the Dashamsa, if it's real life mistakes, of course we need to have confirmation also in that environment. There will be also some Saturn or maybe Nietzsche, right? Debilitation. So let's see. In his chart, we have Jupiter and Saturn. Saturn is already Saturn, and Lagna Lord is connected to that. In the Navamsa, this is the 4th Lord. In the 2nd, which has Shubha Yoga on the Lagna, and in the Dashamsa, it is related to the debilitated Rahu in the Sagittarius. Unfortunately, it's also related to the 7th Lord, so your clients or your partners will take the brunt of this mistake, and that was his patient. His wolf life was intense with the legal battles. He was first sentenced to jail for 10 years. Then they find out that it was a mistake. So imagine the whole 9th house, 9th Lord, the luck, the Bhagya activation there. And then he got those surgery practice regained, but because of those mistakes, he again is going to that 6th house Mars legal battle path. If you have this yoga, does it mean that you're ignorant, or does it mean that you will always do mistakes? Whole life is only mistake after the mistakes? Definitely not. First of all, as we said, there must be the malefic. Ketu and Saturn are giving also those direction. And what is most important, you need to pay attention to the dasha, because it may just be one or two big thing in the life, but because they are in the chart, they can be really important. Therefore, you need to pay attention when this dasha is coming up and compensate with the remedies, or at least the awareness. Okay, now we are going to the most intense manifestation. And here we need to engage the other level to be sure what is going on. It's too serious. We cannot be too light about those cases. So we definitely want to have some malefic. Usually we also expect some Rahu. There are other jail yogas. Maybe I will also record a video about this. But 12th house from the Atma Karaka, that is the reveal point. You need to have the yoga with this in Rashi or in the Navamsa. And as said, sometimes the yoga is hard to find, but it is your task to master this. We have Watergate scandal. Trial was in October 74. John Ehrlichman, one of the biggest guys there, was convicted in January 75. And that's to 2 to 5 years in the dasha of Venus, Saturn. There is a Parivartana, Saturn is exalted, but there must be other yogas which are not so positive, which these two planets are giving effects, because usually the exalted grahas will not give such effects. So let's see. So 12 from Atma Karaka in the Rashi is a Capricorn. By the way, it was also Capricorn Narayana Dasha. Saturn is in Venusian sign, so Saturn, Venus, Dasha, quite easy. In the Navamsa, the Venus is also 12 from the Karakamsha. Because Atma Karaka Venus is in Gemini, 12 from that would be Taurus, loaded by Venus. So in Dasha, Saturn, Venus, this happened. In this case, this is very clear that not only 12 house from Lagna got activated, but also 12 house from Karakamsha. And therefore, this is bringing that big difference. You can see small nuance in the chart can bring a big difference in the real life. Atma Karaka, because if you cannot move, if you are jailed and your whole soul mission, you are really, we could say, you are losing on all parts, the whole sakya of the person, the soul, the linga sharira, which is the subtle body, and the stula sharira, all the layers of you are jailed, right? You cannot move. So it needs to be affected on all of these levels. Now, in the Sam Shepherd, in the previous example, we know that he was also jailed for 10 years for wrongly. He was wrongly convicted for murdering his wife. Also in the arrested in the Rahu Saturn. Saturn is also in the 12th house. Now for him, it is a little bit more advanced to understand how the 12th house from the Karakamsha and the Atma Karaka are activated, but the yogas are there. So therefore, if you don't know the node yoga, like here, Moon and Rahu is bringing the results of Venus. And if you don't know that Venus and Saturn are in Parivartana, and they can also exchange their results, then it will be hard to understand how 12 from Karakamsha, which is Cancer here, is related to Saturn. Similarly, if you omit the Anubhava principle, which in the Navamsha, Rahu and Saturn, Anubhava is going to the Taurus and is also activating in this wave the 12th house from Karakamsha. If you omit that, again, you may know the rule, but if you don't know the yoga formation or how the planets are activating some other part of the chart, then also the activity will not be seen by you, and you will not bring that prediction to the client or your friend or family member. And therefore, it's also wise to bring the other dasha to be sure if you are taking all those possibilities into account. So the last example is definitely more advanced. It demands this more technical knowledge. So what you have to do if you are in dasha of the 12th house, go through each of these charts we make and make those recipes ready. Don't forget about the yoga formation like Uchanat, the node yoga, and if you are using the dasha, the things like Anubhava and so on. You can master them by watching my previous videos. And the critical part, of course, is the practice, because sometimes you will be presented with 2 or 3 options, and some of the time 2 of them will be activated, because that can also happen. Sometimes you need to weight these 2 possibilities, and that is when the practice is coming, because you need to take into consideration many factors, many rules. So now you have those rules. If you add the practice to that, then definitely you will be much better in finding which part of the 12th house will get to 4. And because it's 12th house, all the mantras with the 12 aksharas, 12 syllables, like the generic Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya or some form of this mantra will work wonderfully on the 12th house. You can also watch the other videos related to the 12th house here. And remember, we were talking about the lamp of clay, which the karma is building. But maybe if you are using the remedies, you are the builder.